You ever have a moment where your whole body just goes cold? That's exactly what happened when I opened the door and saw the oxygen delivery guy standing outside, empty-handed, shaking his head. My baby's oxygen tank was inside his truck and he couldn't get through. Why? Because our HOA president, Karen, had parked her SUV sideways across the cul-de-sac like some kind of self-appointed sheriff, arms crossed, sunglasses on, and completely unbothered by the life-threatening situation. I couldn't believe it. My daughter's breathing was already shallow. The hiss of her emergency oxygen tank was fading fast. And there she was, smiling, like this was some kind of game. My heart sank. My lungs felt like they emptied before hers even had a chance. I ran toward Karen shouting, "This isn't pizza, it's oxygen. My infant needs it right now." But she just shrugged and repeated something about HOA rules. No commercial vehicles on the street after 6 p.m. That's when fear and rage collided inside me, and I knew I couldn't wait. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. My words tumbled out. Baby, oxygen, HOA, block delivery. The operator's tone shifted immediately. Help was on the way, but it didn't come in the way anyone would expect. Not 5 minutes later, the sound of heavy rotor blades filled the air. A helicopter appeared, shadowing the cul-de-sac like some divine force. Karen's smug grin faltered. "What is that?" she shouted, spinning in place. Then it happened. Thud, thud, thud. Oxygen tanks dropped from the sky, landing safely in my yard. My wife screamed with relief. I tore one open and connected it to our baby's line. The soft hiss of pure oxygen filled the air again, steady and strong. My daughter's chest began to rise easier, her color returning. Karen, meanwhile, had completely lost it. She pulled out her phone, snapping pictures of the helicopter, muttering about lawsuits and claiming illegal activity. I laughed, shaky and incredulous. A lawsuit over saving my child? But karma had its own plan, because that helicopter, part of emergency supply protocols, drew attention. And when officials started asking questions, they didn't just see a medical emergency, they saw Karen, her SUV, her arrogance, and a trail of financial misdeeds she'd buried in HOA records. Her little empire of rules and intimidation crumbled overnight. The same neighbors who once feared her now whispered as she walked past, pale and defeated. Even after her fraud was exposed, Karen refused to stop. She filed a lawsuit against the city, claiming the helicopter airdrop was staged. In court, the judge barely held back laughter. The emergency operation was entirely legal, and her claim swiftly dismissed. Eventually, Karen was fined, stripped of her HOA position, and sentenced to community service. Watching her pick up trash along the sidewalks she once policed felt almost poetic. And for me, it was simple. I held my daughter close, listening to the steady hiss of oxygen, the sound of life, the sound Karen tried to deny us. That night, the sky opened up, justice came roaring in, and the life of my child was saved. Karen thought rules could give her power over life itself. But life doesn't bend to forged papers or petty tyranny. Life fights back, sometimes louder than you ever imagine. And in the end, the most important thing, my daughter is alive, breathing steady, and surrounded by parents who would move heaven and earth to protect her.